My name is Adaora, and this story began the night my mother, Mama Ifeoma, started calling strange names in her sleep. She was old, weak, and could hardly walk without my help. I had already prepared myself that her time on earth was almost over. But that night, she kept whispering, "Forgive me, Ngozi. Forgive me, Chijioke." At first, I thought she was just dreaming, maybe remembering people from her old days as a midwife. But something in her voice shook me. It was the kind of cry that comes from a heart full of guilt. "Mama, who is Ngozi?" I asked her the next morning while giving her medicine. She just looked away, her eyes full of tears. "My daughter," she said weakly, "some things are better buried." I didn't push her, but my heart didn't rest. I had grown up hearing how Mama Ifeoma helped so many women give birth safely. Everybody respected her. People even brought gifts during Christmas to thank her. But in that old woman's eyes now, I saw something heavy, something she was afraid to carry to her grave. That evening, while I was preparing pap for her, she called me again. "Adaora, come close. Sit down." I sat on the edge of her bed. The air in the room felt strange, quiet, almost like the whole world stopped to listen. She reached for my hand, her palms cold and shaking. "Adaora, I did something many years ago," she began. "It was the night 2 women gave birth in this house. One was the wife of Chief Nwafo, the rich man from Onitsha. The other was a poor woman called Ngozi who came from the village. They both went to labour the same night." She stopped to cough. I quickly gave her water, my heart beating fast. When Chief's wife gave birth, her baby wouldn't cry. He was gone before morning. But Ngozi gave birth to a healthy baby boy. That night, Chief came to me secretly. He begged me. He said his wife must not know she lost the child. He gave me money, plenty money. I was foolish. I changed the babies. My mouth opened, but no word came out. "Mama, you mean you gave the dead baby to the poor woman?" Tears rolled down her cheeks. "Yes, my daughter, and the living baby grew up as Chief's son. That boy is now the governor everyone respects." I dropped the cup in my hand. My legs felt weak. "Mama, do you know what you're saying?" She nodded slowly. "I've carried this secret for 35 years, Adaora. It's eating me alive. Before I die, the truth must come out." I just sat there, staring at her. I couldn't even cry. My mother, the kind woman everyone trusted, had done something so heavy. And now, that secret was sitting in our small room like a spirit that refused to leave. That night, I didn't sleep. I kept hearing her words in my head. The truth must come out. But I didn't know then that once the truth comes out, it can destroy everything. For 2 days after Mama told me the secret, I couldn't eat well. I would stare at her and wonder how such a small old woman could carry such a heavy thing in her heart for so many years. Sometimes she would just sit and look at the wall like she was seeing people I couldn't see. Then one afternoon, while I was washing her clothes outside, I heard her call my name weakly. "Adaora! Adaora! Come!" I ran inside, thinking maybe she fell. But when I entered, she was sitting up on the bed, holding her Bible close to her chest. Her eyes were red. "My daughter," she said, "I don't have much time left. I want to make peace with God. I must tell the world the truth before I die." I froze. "Mama, you don't have to tell anybody. Just pray. God will forgive you." She shook her head slowly. "No, Adaora. A sin that destroyed 2 families cannot be buried in silence. That child I swapped became governor. The poor woman's spirit has not rested. Every night she visits me in my dreams, crying and asking me to speak." I felt cold all over. I didn't want to hear more, but she started talking, her voice trembling as tears rolled down. "That night," she said, "the chief's wife was screaming. The whole compound was in confusion. When the baby came out lifeless, Chief sent everyone out. He begged me to help him. He gave me money that changed our lives. I told myself I was doing it to protect him, but deep down, I did it because I wanted a better life for you." She coughed, struggling to breathe. I wiped her face with a towel. "Mama, please rest." But she shook her head again. "No, let me finish. The woman, Ngozi, she cried till morning when she found her baby dead. Nobody knew what happened that night except me and Chief. Now that lie has become the foundation of many lives. The true son of Chief Nwafo is somewhere suffering, while another man lives in glory built on a lie." Her voice broke. I knelt by her bed and started crying too. I didn't know whether to hate her or pity her. After she finished speaking, she asked me to bring her phone. She said she wanted to record her confession before death came. I begged her not to. I told her it would bring trouble. But she said, "Trouble or peace, truth must stand." She pressed the record button and started talking slowly, naming names, places, and everything that happened. I watched her, my heart beating fast. It felt like fire was burning in the room. When she was done, she smiled weakly. "Now my spirit can rest," she said, "whether the world forgives me or not." That night she slept peacefully for the first time in a long while. But I didn't sleep. I sat beside her bed, staring at that phone. I knew what was inside could destroy powerful people, maybe even kill us. I didn't know that before the week would end, that phone would cause a storm bigger than anything our small house had ever seen. 3 days after Mama recorded her confession, she passed away quietly in her sleep. I found her that morning with a small smile on her face and her Bible open beside her. I cried till my voice broke. My mother was gone, but her secret was still in that small phone lying under her pillow. After her burial, I locked the phone inside a box. I told myself I would never play that video. The truth was too heavy. I didn't want it. But it's like the truth has its own spirit. No matter how you hide it, it will find its way out. My cousin Chuka came for the burial from Onitsha. He was the type that loved gossip and always wanted attention on social media. One evening, while helping me clean Mama's room, he found the phone. "Ah, Adaora, this phone still day work?" he asked, already pressing buttons. "Leave that thing alone," I shouted. "It's Mama's." But curiosity is like fire. Once it catches someone like Chuka, you can't quench it. I went outside to fetch water, and before I came back, I heard his voice shouting, "Jesus Christ! Adaora, come and see this thing!" I ran in. He was staring at the phone screen, his mouth wide open. Mama's face filled the screen. Her voice came out clear, slow, and shaking. Open quote, "My name is Ifeoma Eze. I was the midwife who delivered the child of Chief Nwafor and the poor widow Ngozi in the same night 35 years ago." Close quote. Chuka looked at me like someone who just found gold. "Do you know what this is? If people see this, everywhere will scatter." I snatched the phone from him, shaking. "Nobody must see it. Please, Chuka." But it was too late. The next morning, he had already uploaded the video online, Facebook, WhatsApp, everywhere. By afternoon, my phone started ringing non-stop. Friends, church members, even journalists were calling. They wanted to know if it was true. Some were asking, "Is that not your mother, the midwife?" The whole town went mad. By evening, the news was on TV. Governor Chijioke's birth mystery. Shocking confession from dead midwife leaks online. I couldn't breathe. People started coming to our comms. Some were insulting me, saying my mother was a liar trying to destroy a good man. Others were shouting that the governor must face the truth. Later that night, policemen came to my gate. One of them said quietly, "Madam Adaora, the state government wants that video taken down." I stood there trembling. I didn't post it. My cousin did. They didn't believe me. They searched the house and left with Mama's phone. That night, I sat alone on the veranda. The street was dark, but far away I could hear people shouting, talking, arguing about the video. I looked up at the sky and whispered, "Mama, see what your truth has started." But deep down, I knew the truth was only beginning to show its teeth. From the moment Mama's confession spread, peace left our home. Every time I stepped outside, people would whisper. Some pitied me, others looked at me like I carried a curse. But the real storm was happening in the city, in Government House. The governor, Chijioke Nwafor, denied everything at first. He called it fake news from people who hate progress. He said the old woman's story was a lie made to spoil his name. But the way the story refused to die began to trouble everyone. Journalists camped in front of the Government House gate. The opposition party started shouting that the governor was living on a stolen name. Then one morning, I woke up to hear on the radio that the real Chief Nwafor, the governor's father, had been rushed to the hospital after collapsing in his house. They said the stress and shame were too much for him. That news broke something inside me. I started crying. Mama's truth was killing people. A few days later, another news broke. A man named Obinna, a mechanic from our town, came forward. He said he was the one born the same night as the governor. His late mother's name was Ngozi, the poor woman Mama mentioned. People started calling him the true son. The whole country wanted to know if it was true. The governor finally agreed to a DNA test. The world went silent, waiting for the result. Everywhere you went, markets, churches, schools, people were talking about it. Some said the governor should resign if it was true. Others said it didn't matter. He was still the same man they voted for. The day the result came out, I was in my room when I heard a loud knock on my door. It was Chuka, panting like he ran from Lagos. "Adaora!" he shouted. "It's true. The test shows the governor is not Chief Nwafo's real son, the mechanic, that Obinna guy. He's the true child." My hand began to shake. I sat on the floor. I didn't even know whether to cry or shout. That evening, the governor appeared on live TV. His eyes were red, his voice low. Open quote, "If this is true, then I have lived my life in a lie I didn't create," he said. "I will not fight the truth. I only ask that God forgives whoever caused this pain." Close quote. The whole country went silent. For the first time, people felt sorry for him instead of angry. That night, I couldn't sleep. I thought of Obinna, the mechanic, sitting somewhere wondering what his life would become now. I thought of the governor, losing everything because of a secret he never knew. And then, for the first time, I felt what Mama must have felt for 35 years. That heavy, burning guilt that never lets the heart rest. After the DNA result shook the whole country, I couldn't eat for days. Everywhere I turned, people were talking about it. Mama's name was on every TV and radio. Some praised her for speaking the truth, others cursed her for destroying great men. But deep down, one question kept eating me up like fire. If the rich woman's baby was dead, how did Obinna come to life? It didn't make sense. Mama had said the chief's wife gave birth to a stillborn child, and the poor widow, Ngozi, gave birth to a healthy baby. That meant only one baby was alive that night. So how did two full-grown men now stand, both claiming to be Chief Nwafo's sons? I couldn't rest until I found out. I travelled to Umunze, the village where Mama worked as a midwife back then. I went to see Mama Nkechi, her old friend who was also a nurse assistant in those days. When she saw me, her eyes filled with tears. "Your mother was a good woman who made one bad choice," she said. I nodded. "A choice that is still shaking the world, Mama Nkechi." She sighed deeply and looked at me. That night, Adaora, there was more to the story. Two things happened at once. The chief's wife actually had twins, not one baby. The first child came out weak and died. But a few minutes later, another baby, smaller but breathing, came out. Your mother didn't tell Chief because she was scared he would throw that small baby away, thinking it would die too. I held my chest. "So you mean there were two?" "Yes. Your mother hid the second baby with one of the nurses. When Ngozi came crying for her dead child, your mother gave her that small twin to raise as her own, thinking it was better than nothing." Tears filled my eyes. "Then the poor woman raised that small baby, the real twin, as her son. That's Obinna?" She nodded slowly. "Yes, child, the one everyone thought was dead lived after all. God saved him." When I left that place, my heart felt heavy, but peaceful. The puzzle finally made sense. A few weeks later, Governor Chijioke and Obinna met publicly for the first time. The whole country watched as they stood side by side, one raised in a palace, the other in a workshop, yet sharing the same blood. The governor walked up to him, tears in his eyes, and hugged him tight. Open quote, "Brother," he said, "we both suffered in different ways. Let's not fight over what we didn't choose." Close quote. Obinna nodded, crying too. "Let's build something good from what our mothers lost." The crowd clapped. Even those watching on TV wept that day. After that, Governor Chijioke resigned from office quietly. He said he wanted to spend his life doing good instead of chasing power. Obinna opened a foundation in Mama Ifeoma's name to help poor mothers and babies in rural villages. Sometimes people still argue about who should have what, but I know the truth healed more than it destroyed. One evening, I went to Mama's grave with flowers. I knelt there and whispered, "Mama, I found the missing piece. The baby you thought was gone lived. God forgave you." A soft wind blew around me, warm and gentle, like she was there smiling. I stood up, looked at the sky, and for the first time since all this began, I felt peace, the kind of peace that comes when the truth finally rests where it belongs.